they understand things. They are able to relate to other people. But when the group came, the group of Moroccan people came back, they couldn't accept as a group, as a culture, as a way of behavior. They could not accept the girl. So the poor Tunisian had to kick her out. I think it's against his own will or desire.
Yeah.
So she's disappointed because it was the only one who tried something with her, tried to teach her to cut the wine or something. And that's why he cannot speak, because he feels,
Right.
that he has nothing to say.
Right.
So were you surprised? You went
No, I wasn't surprised. I found it very touching. It did
Okay.
seem somebody who had so
Good.
much feeling that they couldn't speak. It was more
that's part of it,
in
yes.
them. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of very interesting camera work, but one of the things I noticed was very often we would see her, and then the camera would slowly pan away from her. The first time it's you see a girl walking with some bread down a road, and then it goes to a bush behind a fence. And the next time she's in the field, and we see a tractor, and later there's a blue door. And this is this interesting camera movement that I would...
in general, I love these traveling shots, would you say, in which you accompany the person, or two or three, but not just from the beginning to the end. I love when there is a little track and then the people enter the shot, or they go out of the shot and the traveling goes on. But in that case, specifically the 13 traveling shot from right to left, that's what the story is about. It's a woman who walks. And in between her walks, she meets people, just little here and there, little stories. So I try to do something which is maybe not perceptible. Perceptible is a word?
Perceptible-ish, yeah.
Perceptible. Yes, I speak with such a bad accent. So
Fantastic.
I try to put something at the end of the shot that would relate to the next one. You spoke about when she breaks up bread and the camera goes down to an agricole.
A tractor or something, yeah.
10 minutes after, the next shot start with a kind of same machine. And it goes, we meet her, and then she goes up and down, then she comes out of the shot, and the police car passes, and we end up in a garage with some des pneus wire. Non, pas. Comment c'est les pneus?
Tires.
Tire. And so, and 10 minutes later, she's in a kind of sport place where they have put tires on the fence. So, in my mind, it's like one long traveling. And it's like connected, disconnected, like this. Some people notice, and it was like retinian persistence with that.
Persistence of vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people get the feeling of that tool and then notice the next. And if you go like this, we did the experience in the bonus of the DVD. We made just one. We spliced the 13 drumming shots. Plus, the music is only on those shots. The music of Joanna Brozovic from the Polish musical school. And I think I love the music. It's so difficult, so dense and tense. And so we made the 13 drumming and the music is just on. Which means it's a way of structuring and destructuring, so that the separation between the shots is what's happening to her. She sleeps somewhere, she meets people, she looks for a job, and she's picked by Madame Landier, who is vaguely trying to help. But the film points that you cannot help. You can help like a little, but what she should do, take her home, give her room, give her her apartment. So it's just so little can be done for people who don't want to be helped and not cooperative with whatever society suggests. And even when she meets these other type of hippies, the former philosophic teacher who decided to make cheese, oat cheese, and there were many in those years. And many now too. There's still many now.
Well, I think there's a back to the land again now. So
Every
Interesting
30
to see
years
it.
it comes back. And to tell the truth, he was a real philosophy teacher. And I spoke with him before the shooting. And I said, oh my God, what you say is so interesting. Are you ready to be in the film? And deliver that more or less, because then I worked it more, and then I decide what Sandrine should answer. But he's making a point where I was impressed by the revolt of one revolt doesn't fit with another one. You would think that she would feel at ease with him, with that family. No, she hates it. She wants to have her own revolt. And even if he tries to give her a feel that she says she wants to grow potatoes, and she's not ready to do anything. And they get mad at her because she burns the place or whatever. So it's just that she's really not willing to be helped. And that's just, what do you do to people who don't want to be helped? Why do we have to help them? Anyway, so for me, the subject was asthma that dying from the cold in that century, which was the last one, by the way, in the 20th century. I was so impressed because I read, what made me start the film is I read little articles like, they found a woman frozen dead in her apartment or under a porch. I remember a gendarme, I don't know, country police, who said that he found a young man under an apple tree. I remember the image, you know, he was frozen dead. So it's a century where we have all kind of heating, you know, not only the sun, but we have, you know, chauffage central, I don't know, and electric,
Heating, yeah.
all kinds of heatings, and all kinds of places where, in a way, you can go and get a shelter and get some heat. And still, a lot of people die from being frozen, or dead frozen. And I thought that should be her death, not as a, comment on dit, une punition, not as a punishment or anything. It's just because by little, if she loses what comfort her, especially her sleeping bag, which was her nest in which she could at least feel hot and good, then she just had that kind of blanket, and then she's in the
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where radishes don't even are grown enough that you could eat them. And she's mad at everything. When she say, dégage contre chien, it's a very rude way of saying, you know, get out of my way, stupid dog. I mean, it's just even against dog.
Yeah, and especially because in many other moments in the film, dogs are a bit of a companion for her, and suddenly she is.
So it's a refusal, it's a total refusal. And the sense of freedom, it's a big subject. I have been sometimes in school in which, you know, the last year, like 17 years old and 16, discussing that film. So what is it, freedom? When people say, I want to be free, so many understandings, so many answers to what it means to be free. So sometimes you say, did you make her be punished because she wants so much to be free? No, it's just she builds herself, her own death, by not only refusing to understand, but refusing to speak, refusing to understand and speak. And she gets in such a loneliness that, plus the sleeping bag, plus these incredible people in the village, you know, it's a real game, would you say, a typical game of that village called Cure-Nonterral, near Montpellier. And every year, they have a feast at the end of the winter, the beginning. It's like March, when supposedly